into the Nazi towns and blow up their radios and...
Yeah, same thing. You eventually went to this medieval castle, which was actually based off of Wolfenstein.
Yeah, and you had to blow up like an ME262 or something.
Yep. And so, yeah, it was those sort of games. See, I also remember playing games on the PlayStation 1 that you just don't see anymore. It's not because they're dead. It's not because they're dead IPs. It's just because they It's like the MOBA brand, okay? Dota, League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, they've all got their own specific type of follower, you know what I mean? I love Heroes of the Storm, because there's no meta about getting these boots, this helm, this sword, this, that, and farming, you know what I mean? No, which is weird, because in Titanfall, that's what you do, you farm the grunts, and occasionally kill a pilot or two to get your Titan to drop as soon as you fucking can. Then you hop in your damn Titan, and what are you doing in a Titan? It's not Titan on Titan like I thought it was. No, it's Titan on grunts again. That's all it is.
Yep.
So I came up with a profile where I don't hunt the grunts, I hunt the pilots. And I've called it Sneaky Bitch. Because all I'm doing is cloaking auto pistol, which automatically locks onto enemies even if they're cloaked. You're dead.
Are you recording, by the way?
I am.
Okay, never mind. I'll tell you after.
And the moment you jump, you start rodeoing an enemy Titan, because I've got the amped pistol, I just stand there in like 3 shots, I've just killed a Titan. In 3 shots. Titan's already about to go critical. Eject. They jump off. I've still got my freaking auto aim pistol, so I look right up, and who's ejected? The pilot. Blip, blip, blip. He's dead in midair now.
Pistol almost seems like a cheat.
Alright, thank you, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's one. Yeah, it is, and so it makes all the other weapons superfluous. I've got the battle rifle, their version of the M14. Okay, and I looked at the damage. The damage is equal, if not on par, to the rail cannon that a fucking Titan carries. I'm thinking, all right, so a couple of shots, and I should be able to drop a pilot. Yeah, I emptied 3 clips into a pilot, and he still didn't die. And I'm like, fuck this shit. So now I just run around with the freaking amped auto pistol and the amped 45. That's all I do. And my Titan weapon is the stupid mini rocket launcher, because that thing fires 25 rockets, and if you hit a Titan with his shields down with all 25 rockets, that Titan is dead. He's gone. He's gonna go critical and fuck you. He's gone. You see what I'm saying? Now, if if they add something like Levolution, like Battlefield 4 to Titanfall, you know, when a Titan goes critical and it takes out buildings, that would be the shit. If they actually just tweaked Titanfall a little bit, maybe, you know, make it free and just add a shit ton of DLC, like a premium sort of game.
Like GTA 5.
Yeah. You know, like Combat Arms. Now, Combat Arms is a free-to-play first-person shooter. It uses the old Fear engine, the old Fear 1 engine, so graphically it looks crap, you know? I mean,
but it plays well.
It
does what it's supposed to do.
It does play well. You will constantly get 60 frames per second, even if you're running no graphics card, okay? Because it's using the old DirectX 8 that's been modified to DirectX 9 Fear 1 engine. But if you want the best sniper rifle, it's like 20 to 30 bucks. You buy their karma coins, and you buy it permanently. Otherwise, you buy it for 7 days, 30 days, or 90 days, and or you can buy it permanent. Now, the thing that I hated about Combat Arms, okay, is you will buy helmets, face shields, vests, you name it, and they don't stop bullets. It's bollocks. I would run around...
It's just cosmetics, really.
No. That's the thing. They have stats. When you look at the difference in the armors, the light armor makes you run faster. The medium armor makes you run normally, but you got more protection than the light armor. But you don't see it, because I will get shot at by an enemy, okay, with like an Uzi or whatever, or a P90, and my armor is at 100% and my health is at 0. How is that possible? Even in freaking Unreal and Quake, what's the first thing that went down? Your armor!
Mm-hmm.
Which is why every nigger always kept running around for the fucking armor upgrades or the quad damage. You know, quad damage. You're dead. Do you see what I'm saying? The quad damage with the rocket launcher or the shotgun. Game over. You know? but no, the point is, that's what drove me away from combat arms. That and the fucking hackers. I honestly would go into rooms and not do anything. I'd stay in the lobby, you know, and you could tell if there was a hacker in the damn room. You couldn't tell who was hacking, but what was the hacker, because there'd be a room full of, like, you know, 20-something people, 24 people, okay, and all of a sudden, one whole side of the enemy, blah, 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 all just left the room. So you know that someone on your team has either an auto-aim or, you know, some kind of hack. You know what I mean?
Oh, bye, Grandma.
Or vice versa. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't go into the room until when I went in, I would take screenshots and I'd actually capture that shit with their shitty built-in fraps. You know? Get their name, report them and stuff. I was that arsehole that would report hackers and cheaters. You know? Now I know, boo, I'm ruining everyone's fun. No, it's not fun. It's not fun when you hack a game just for lols. That's not fun. I have a, yes, granted, in my Company of Heroes 2 mod list, I have the cheat mod. I don't use it. I use it for building things like cinematics and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to build, I'm trying to do the whole Fury scene. You know, we've got the one Tiger and a whole bunch of Shermans, you know? That's what I'm trying to do with that, because I'm going to do it in War Thunder later. Well, I'm going to try and do it in War Thunder in sometime next week with Liam, myself, and a whole bunch of other people. You know, you if you can. You know, we'll start a custom room. There'll be one Tiger, you know, and a whole bunch of Shermans, and we're going to try and reenact the whole fucking Fury scene. You know, and that's what I want to do. I want to do it. You know, I want to do like a war movie. You know, in the War Thunder engine. You know, and I want to do a war movie in the Company of Heroes engine. Which, by the way, is the same engine as Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War. Which is why the game was like second nature to me, because I love Dawn of War. So I'm like, oh, okay. So instead of it being Space Marines, instead of it being genetically modified neo-Nazis, I really am just Nazis. Okay, that's cool. You know. And everyone keeps asking me, you know, you know, what's your all-time favorite game ever of all time? And I'm like, that's not something that can easily just be snapped like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you say, oh, Street Fighter. Well, have you ever tried Tekken? Have you ever tried Virtual Fighter? Have you ever tried Battle Arena Toshinden? Have you ever tried, you know? It's like, look, I can say the best car company in the world is Ford. You're going to say bollocks, it's Chevy. He's going to say bollocks, it's Dodge. And then somebody is going to say bollocks, it's Mitsubishi. You know? Look, it's called fanboyism or brand loyalty. Okay? I hold no allegiance to any one game genre or any one brand. Okay, granted, yes, I am a Ford certified mechanic. Why? Because the majority of the parts on the tanks we worked on in England were Ford. They were from Leyland, which is a company owned by Ford Motor Company. Now they're owned by Chevy, but they were owned by Ford at that time. So I got my certification, you know, to work on Fords. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, my wife drives a Ford, but my wife's a Dodge fan. Before you know, when I first got here, she had an old 1-ton, quarter-ton Dodge, you know, a little Ram 2500. You know, now she drives a Ford Expedition. Why? Because instead of paying some dipshit mechanic hundreds of thousands of dollars for stuff, I bought the part on eBay for like $50 and then put it on myself, as where our local Ford dealership was going to charge us $1,200.
Problem easily solved.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? It's all about it's not necessarily I don't have any one. It's like everyone keeps asking me, what's my favorite tank? I can't answer that. What if I had a choice? You know, give me a choice of 5 tanks. You know, and I'll tell you, okay, Walker Bulldog, great speed, bugger all armor, shitty gun, ammo and fuel is too. You know, I will start listing the cons and then the pros. And whatever tank has more pros than cons, guess what? I'm gonna take it. Doesn't matter if I like it or not. I mean, it's like when I first started playing World of Tanks. Okay. I abso-fucking-lutely detested the M2 MT. which is a tier 3 American tank. I put the 75mm howitzer on it, the little baby KV2 as some call it, and I hated how the tank looked. I was like, if I go down a hill and pull a sharp right or a left, I'm going to end up rolling down the hill, you know? It's too top heavy. And so someone introduced me to swap mods, and I'm like, what the fuck is a swap mod? And you go, okay, you take a tank you like, you take the tank you're driving, and you swap the models. So to you, you're driving the Sherman, or the Patton, or the Mouse. But in actuality, everyone else is a T1 Cunningham, or the M2 MT. Problem with that is, I'm thinking I'm covered by this rock, but actuality, I'm not. Do you see what I'm saying? Because the Mark 46 Patton is lower in height than the M2 MT, so they can still shoot my turret, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? You know? But I eventually did that. I had to do that model swap, because otherwise I was going to go stir fucking bollocks crazy in this M2 MT, because I just did not like the way it looked. Love the way it plays. Excellent derpy little sniper. Okay? Most people think, how the hell can you make a sniper with a howitzer? It's called patience. You wait for the opponent that you're looking at to aim at some other schmuck and go, boop, shoot him in the arse or the side or the rear, where you're going to do maximum damage. Okay?
You derp them.
Exactly, you derp them. Now, problem with that is I just did not like the way the tank looks. Same, let's see, there's that, there's the Cruiser Mark 1, the Cruiser Mark 2, and the Cruiser Mark 3. I did not like how they looked. So what did I do? I made them all look like the FE404. The tier 10 heavy tank. Cruising around at 60-something kilometers an hour. That looks ridiculously fucking stupid. You know that, right? But I did it just to get me through those bloody tanks, because I just did not like the way they looked. I just wish I could do that in War Thunder. Because the first thing I would do is I would take the piece of crap fucking... I gotta give them props. The models look absolutely gorgeous. It's just my personal hatred for this one fucking tank, and that is the T-44. I would love to modify the T-44 so that when it shoots, it quacks like a duck.
Or turn into an AT-AT Walker.
Yeah. See, and that's another thing. I know that there's a whole bunch of Russian modders. They've turned all the Soviet planes into TIE fighters. Complete with the whole engine and the fucking blasters. They've already gone ahead and done that. And I'm like, why you not do that for us? You know? Because I would snap that shit up in a heartbeat. My Americans would be Imperial. My British would be Imperial. My Japanese Hayabusas would be fucking TIE fighters. You know what I mean? But no, can't do that. No, government.
You have to take the French X-Wings.
Which is why, now work this shit out. War Thunder, Gay Chin, and I have to call him Gay Chin, because that's what the mod said, they want to be called Gay Chin. So Gay Chin Entertainment have now banned anyone who does model editing, but they gave us model editing tools. They gave us map making tools. Go frigging figure. Yet now, if you like, I've actually got the TIE Fighter 3D model that I can actually use. That's compatible with War Thunder, and all I got to do is put it in the right folder and swap out the freaking render, and ta-da! I've got a TIE Fighter. Granted, it's...
Yeah, finding that model, that took forever.
Yeah, but I've got the model. I have the model, but I know if I do that, and the checksums do not match in the folders, I'm afraid my account will get banned. And that's another thing that's pissed me off, that Gay Chin's pissed me off. You know that I bought the package to get me onto the test server, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I downloaded the 13.5 gig test server client, only to be told that the test server is not activated on my account.
Damn.
Go fucking figure. They scammed me to buy a goddamn pack, made me download almost 14 gigs. That's a lot of porn I could have on my hard drive, I might add. Made me download...
Especially midget porn, because that takes up a lot of space.
Tell me about it. It's all the condensed, you know, the compression ratio.
Yes.
You know? And
Compression.
yeah, exactly, compression ratio. And literally, those motherfuckers, okay, immediately turn around and tell me, sorry, your account's not available for the test server. You motherfuckers! Oh, and by the way, today's thing to get the tank, Austin, you're gonna get you're gonna laugh so hard, milk's gonna shoot out your nose. You ready? You wanna know what it is?
Alright, what is it?
Kill 5 tanks in one game with a reserve tank. You wanna know how I did it?
Drove the Americans?
No, Panzer 2C.
Oh,
I went 15 and 0. 15 and 0 in a Panzer 2C. I got the achievement 3 times over in my first game. In my first game. 15.
So basically, you were sitting there running around to the
One
theme of
shot,
Benny Hill.
dude. You have 8 rounds in your clip. I killed 8 tanks with 1 shot. Bang, 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 bang. Reloaded, pop back out. Bang, 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 bang. Just kept doing it.
So you're playing tanks to Benny Hill.
Yeah. It was hilarious. I was just one shot in M3s, M2s, Panzer 2s, T26s. Fucking, I was just one shot in everything. BT5s.
Did you record this?
Huh?
Did you record this?
The replay is saved in my hard drive. I will be probably using it as the backdrop to this podcast.
I want to see that.
Actually, you know, I need to use the restroom, so I'm going to stop recording and I will pick it back up as soon as I am done. So audio break cue mark here. Recording back now.
Okay.
So yeah, I want to welcome my guests to episode 2 of Cobra Commands. That would be Mike and Austin. Say hi.
You.
And so yeah, what I plan on doing is, this is somewhat of a rip-off of Mingles or Jingles. I'm not going to hide it. It is. I'm getting my thoughts that are in my head, you know, out and in a video with some extra content and whatnot. Mostly from people's replays. You know, I still did a replay roundup. If you guys want to send replays, send them to replayroundup@deceptiveent.net. But yeah, I've got. This is where I do small little mini announcements and things that you know, really don't greatly affect the channel, but do at the same time. And I just don't want people to freak out. Which is sponsorship. Unfortunately, the deal with Alua fell through. I wasn't happy with the contract that they offered, and I mean, I just was not happy with it at all. So I won't be going to CES, but that's to PAX, sorry. But that's not a bad thing because I have to go see a doctor. I've got a medical issue, so I'm going to be seeing a doctor here soon about the issue. A couple of years ago, I was in a very bad parachute accident, and I damaged the ACLs in both my knees. And the surgery took on my right ACL, but it didn't take on my left. And my left ACL has just been getting progressively worse and worse and worse. Now it's getting to the point where if I have to use the restroom and I try to stand back up, I'm in so much pain I just want to scream, because the ACL in my left knee is literally almost gone. It's literally just bone on bone grinding. And it sounds horrible too, to the point where I have to have a pillow underneath my left leg as I sleep at night. So yeah, I'm going to be talking to a doctor about that, a general doctor, and then from there go to a specialist maybe, and see if they can't do anything for me. So I may be in the hospital for some weeks. But fret not, my fellow Cobra minions. Fret not. Your commander in chief is strong, so stay strong. But yeah, I gotta thank you, Austin, and you, Mike, for the Christmas gifts of some various digital games. Thank you, Mike, for Titanfall. Thank you, Austin, for Company of Heroes and it was Company of Heroes, Payday 2, and Hearts of Iron 3. Thank you.
Yep, and you got another one coming on the way when it comes out this first quarter.
Well, thank you, Austin. I greatly appreciate it, my friend. But yeah, I'm also going to be doing some game reviews of those games, so look forward to seeing those on the YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing Titanfall first. I'm going to do a quick and simple, dirty 15-minute, you know, flat-out review what I think they could do, tweak it, etc. Same with Company of Heroes and Hearts of Iron 3. I I installed Hearts of Iron 3, got onto the main screen, and then I was like, where do I go from here? It was one of those, what do we do, George? What way do we go? You know? Yeah, it's definitely one of those games where you need to talk to someone who's played it before and can show you the ropes. You know what I mean? So, in theory, same as Company of Heroes 2. Cause
The funny thing is about Hearts of Iron, like when you look on the screen, there's a ton of shit on the screen. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I like freaked out and I watched a 2-hour tutorial on it. I'm like, you're shitting me, right? I just wasted 2 hours of something that probably could have taken me 10 minutes to figure out on my own.
Yeah. See,
it's just literally nothing to the game.
And see, that's why I when it comes down to it, I'm probably gonna do a few tutorials. I also got invited to a Insurgency server tournament. So during the first-person shooter week, we'll be doing Insurgency, which I'm in. Again, I'm talking to the server owners right now, and we're gonna try and turn that into a paid promotion. So yeah, there's that. So look forward to seeing some Insurgency stuff on the Twitch channel as well as here on YouTube. I'm also going to be doing a Pixel podcast, an early Pixel podcast this week, and simply because I want to get a few episodes pre-recorded. That way, you know, because I've got conflicting schedules with some of my guests, you know. So then that way I can have the content pre-done, and then that way they go up. I'll already upload them, but they won't be released until that day. You know what I mean? So I don't have to worry about them and getting them uploaded and whatnot. And see, that's the thing. No one ever told me about the YouTube scheduler. I didn't even know that thing existed.
I told you about that several times.
No, dude, I'm serious. My brain was like, just didn't think it until all of a sudden I'm like, what's this upload for schedule thing? Huh?
You can upload 10 videos, at least one a day at a particular time.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm going to be doing for the Pixel podcast now. I'm going to be pre-recording some episodes ahead of time to save on guests' schedules and things like that and whatnot, because I know not everyone can spend their Saturdays off of work or whatever, or from spending time with family, to sit around for an hour and a half and chat bollocks in computer games and that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This Cobra Commands is brought to you by Brazilian and French blend Folgers. Yummy. A bit nutty.
I'm surprised you did not say croissant.
No.
How can you say French without saying it's a croissant?
No croissant. No croissant. No, monsieur.
A fromage.
And so there is that. I'll be doing that. I'm also going to be catching up on some of my model kits, because I actually realized the whole of 2014, Mike, I only finished one model kit.
Mm-hmm.
I have like 9 model kits sitting on my shelf. Just need minor things like decals or weathering, or, you know, just minor pathetic shit that I just have not gotten around to doing, because, again, I mean, I stream, you know, Mondays to Fridays, so I've only got the weekends to myself, and Saturdays I'm doing the damn Pixel podcast, you know, and so I'm constantly busy.
You also had a project that was waiting on a resistor for, you know.
And I'm still working out the circuits for that. Okay, he's talking about his sliders timer, which was on a TV show called Sliders. It's a little handheld device the main hero had. Exactly, as my wife just yelled in the background. Maybe you'll get it when he gets his ass here. So, yeah. Also, I got a new intro video. So if you guys like that, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. It's an intro I found on YouTube via another artist. I contacted him, and he said, yeah, sure, it's free to use. Go ahead. So I snagged it and swapped out the music with a little bit more mellow drum step. It's not necessarily... See, this thing, everyone's doing dubstep with their freaking stuff now, and it's just... Honestly, I'm dubstepped to death, you know? And
You were in the mood for Steely Dan, and the moment just caught you.
exactly. I was just looking for some Steely Dan, or, you know, something more mellow, you know? And
Simon Uncle.
another video series I've been doing off and on has actually gained a little bit of traction, and I'm thinking about continuing it on, which is War Thunder Mechanics, where we basically we look at the ammunition differences. You know, what's the difference between Omni ammo, incendiary, and tracer rounds, and you know what I mean? So I'm going to be doing a video series, one dedicated to each ammunition type, and what to go for, what not to go for. Like, for example, if you're using tracers, don't bother going for armored fighters, like heavy fighters, like the Teliatov 2 or the bow fighter, because all you're going to do is marginal damage to them. You know, you may knock out a flap or a rotor control, but you won't kill the pilot, you won't kill the gunner. You know what I mean? Go for
it's like trying to shoot a grizzly bear with a 22. You're going to piss them off pretty effectively, but you're not going to hurt.
But if you go after the Wellington bombers or the Lancasters, you'll bring them down pretty goddamn quick because they had no armor. Same as B-17s. B-17s didn't have armor to save weight. They just gave the gunners bulletproof vests. So yeah, but you see what I'm saying? It's all about knowing your target, angles of attack, stuff like that. And I'm going to be doing it a video series, one based on each nation at first, German, Soviet, American, British, Japanese, and then I'm going to do it based on the ammo types. So default, Omni, Tracer, and Stealth. So there'll be 5 subcategory videos under each nation. So if you want to know more about the British, you go to the British video playlist, and then there it will be, okay, this is Omni, this is Stealth, this is whatever, you know what I mean? And it's going to be all be the same plane. It's all going to be like a bow fighter or a Spitfire Mark V, or, so there's no difference in the plane that's being flown, just a difference in the ammo type being used. Do you see? So people can actually get a rough idea of what ammo type to use in what plane. Same as tanks. I'm going to be doing that for tanks that are constantly, I wouldn't say underrated, but unknown, like the KV-2, the 105 Sherman, because they're like, what do I go with? High explosive or anti-concrete? It's like, what do you want to do? They both in effect do the same thing. The only difference is that the anti-concrete shell flies a lot slower than the high explosive. And it's like,
yeah, it's kinetic energy.
Yeah, well, no, see, this is the thing. A lot of people look at the penetration value of the HE shell, and they're like, well, it only does 16 millimeters of penetration. It's not meant to penetrate. It's meant to hit something hard, and on the trying to explain physics to people in a YouTube video, you might as well just shoot yourself in the head. In a tank, believe it or not, the majority of the crew, when they're knocked out, is via the concussion of the shell hitting the vehicle. Okay? Well, when a HE shell hits a tank, it's the concussive wave that you don't see. In movies, okay, in the Incredible Hulk movie, they had those weird sonic guns that were pissing Hulk off. That's in essence what a sonic wave is inside a tank. That sort of goes through the tank. It could it's like a flashbang. It can disorientate the crew, can even knock them out. Some people have actually been known to pass out due to the flash or the sound of a flashbang. Do you see? Well, when a HE shell fired from like a KV-2 hits, say, a Panther, not talking in the side or anything, I'm talking like in the turret or the front. What that does is the shell's kinetic energy gets passed into the armor, and the armor fragments and then acts like shrapnel inside the tank. It's the actual armor of the tank is what kills the crew. The tank they're driving is what kills them. So an anti-concrete shell, in theory, just does the same thing as a regular HE shell, just slower. It's like, everyone keeps asking me, how come I can kill a Tiger 1 from the front in a T-34 with a shell that only has a maximum 86 millimeters of penetration? It's a ballistic cap. The initial penetration is just that. It's the initial penetration value. It's the ballistic cap when it explodes like a porcupine, like a pineapple. Okay, take a vine of grapes. Okay, this is why you should never shake a bag of grapes, because what happens to the grapes? They fall off the stem, right? Well, imagine a metallic cap crammed full of ball bearings. Okay, and what happens is the shell, when it hits the metal, it crumples the exterior of that cap, and then a small explosive charge behind that shoots these ball bearings in a shotgun pattern. In essence, you're basically taking a shotgun, jamming it into the front of the armor of the tank, and pulling the trigger. You see what I'm saying?
The shrapnel's going to bounce around the inside because it's basically a hollow copper pot kind of thing.
And that's what kills the tank. Yeah. So this is what a lot of people don't seem to understand. That's how Soviet tanks killed German tanks. They didn't necessarily penetrate their armor. It's what the shell did after it hit the armor. That's what killed most. Which is why when the Panzer IV was getting knocked out in one shot by T-34s, they were like, how is this happening? We're bolting more and more armor. No, what you're doing is you're piling on more and more shrapnel to be shot at your damn crew. And it actually took Ferdinand Porsche. It actually took Ferdinand Porsche to redesign the Panther with the more angled 60-degree slope armor, and they finally realized that the ballistic cap shell bounces at a 60-degree angle. So the Soviet shell was bouncing off and exploding above the tank, and the shrapnel shells were shooting up, not down. So it wasn't hurting the Panther or the crew. Do you see what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, look at the Tiger II. The Tiger II originally was just going to be the Ferdinand Porsche variant of Tiger, with the upscaled 105 gun. Until they realized that happened, it's like radical redesign, and then they literally radically redesigned the Tiger into the Tiger II, the Ferdinand Porsche Tiger into the Tiger II, with the Panther style sloped frontal armor. Do you see what I'm saying? It's called necessity. This is how human beings actually learn to grow. And I hate to say it, is during times of war. If there wasn't World War II, we wouldn't have microwaves. We wouldn't have Velcro. We wouldn't jets, rockets, super glue. We wouldn't have soil acrylate. Soil acrylate, aka super glue, was an advancement in military technology to close bullet wounds instantly.
We also wouldn't have atomic power.
No, you would not. There would be no nuclear
radar.
Or radar. Do you see what I'm saying? Humans have made more strides in technology via war than any other time in our existence.
You could say World War II was a huge growth spurt for humanity.
Yes. At the same time, we're slaughtering each other in the tens of thousands.
My history is a bit hazy, but didn't World War II pretty much bring us out of that really shitty depression?
Yes. At the end of World War I, America was in a really deep depression. Because all the factories that were making bullets and bandages and machine guns and helmets and trench knives and everything else weren't making them anymore because the US Army didn't need them. In fact, they got to the point where the US Army started to melt down and or destroy by literally just dismantling the tanks and melting the metal and then selling the metal back to salvage yards to try and recoup any kind of loss. Which is why it's really hard to find any tanks from World War I. Has nothing to do with the fact that they were either destroyed on the battlefield or whatever. It has to do with the fact that times were so hard that countries were literally dismantling tanks and melting the metals down for the raw resources. Like the biggest resource that was needed in England during World War II, and you'll laugh your asses off, was tires, was rubber. Wasn't oil, wasn't petrol, wasn't copper, wasn't steel, wasn't platinum, wasn't any precious metal. It was rubber. Because rubber was used to make the belts, the hoses, the tires, and everything else for Spitfires, for tanks, for combat cars, for motorcycles. And linen as well. Certain particular types of linen, like silk. Okay. Like silk was used to make the parachutes for the paratroopers. So women had to go without their nylons, and men had to go without their condoms. Because they even took the rubber used by Trojan to make condoms and used them to make wheels for Spitfires, Lancasters, Beauforts, you name it.
Wow.
And even the rubber bushings for tanks. Like the drive wheels, they have an exterior 3-inch rubber bushing on the wheel. Yeah, that rubber right there was usually old ground-up car tires and pedal bike tires and you name it.
And condoms, apparently.
Mm-hmm. See, now, when I say condoms, I don't mean these disposable Trojan shit. I mean, back then, condoms were meant to be reused. You just washed it out, throw some talcum powder in it, put it back in its box, and get to use it again. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of history about England that a lot of people don't seem to understand. Like the fact that the King of England actually told Winston Churchill to surrender to the Germans. And Churchill told him, go fuck yourself. He was ordered by the King of England to surrender. Even handed Churchill a freaking letter of resignation and a letter of surrender. Churchill tore them both up in front of him and said, you want to give up, but I don't. Turned around, and that's when he did, we will fight them on the beaches, we will fight them on the shore. That's when he did the whole we will fight them speech. His original speech was going to be, we surrender. And that didn't come out until after Sir Winston Churchill died. And it was in one of his journals.
I'm surprised the king just let that happen.
Well, the king was sick. The king was almost dead at that point. See, between World War I and the beginning of World War II, we actually had a king, not a queen. And what happened was the king passed away due to sepsis. He got wounded in an air raid, and was rushed off to up north in England, up near Scotland, and he died of sepsis. And that's when Queen Elizabeth took over. And Queen Elizabeth at that time was a nurse. She wasn't sitting on no crown. She was in a hospital helping soldiers. And even then, Winston Churchill said, look, your dad wanted me to surrender. She goes, no, bollocks, we ain't surrendering.
Fuck the nigga.
Uh-huh. And another little unknown fact. The Emperor actually went against Hitler and actually attacked the Americans. When Japan attacked America, it was without the consent of Hitler.
It was.
Hitler told him, don't do it. But the Emperor did it anyway.
Yeah, don't do it. The Americans will come into the war. We don't want that. Oh, fuck are you?
Pretty much. And lo and freaking behold, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Pearl Harbor attack happens. All of a sudden, America joins the war. All of a sudden, England's factories that were still being rebuilt after every bloody daily air raid. Now all of a sudden, we're getting M3 Lees, which we call Grants for some reason. We were getting Wolverines, Jacksons, Hellcats, Shermans. You know. Why? Because Germany didn't have any bombers that could reach England. Couldn't reach the US. Couldn't even reach Canada. Even that's why Hitler actually declared war against the Soviets, because he knew if he had managed to have taken all of Russia during the winter months, his troops would be able to have marched from Siberia all the way across the Baltics into Alaska, and then from Alaska into Canada or America. Do you see what I'm saying?
And we were just like, oh, fuck that.
No. Even when Hitler declared war against Stalin, America was like, we don't care. We don't give a damn.
Let those two fight it out. And then Japan had to go and fuck it up for everybody.
Mm-hmm. By attacking the Americans. Now, if Japan was smart and attacked Australia instead of America, all Americans would be speaking Japanese. I'm telling you, Australia would have buckled. Australia would have buckled, then New Zealand would have buckled, and then that's the whole South Pacific area covered by Axis. Which means all it would have took was maybe another 6 months before they were into Tunisia, then Africa, then Egypt, then Israel, Syria, and all of a sudden the whole of Europe is now under Axis control, whether it be Japanese or German. Which means they would have just then turned around in mass force and then just counter push the Russians from the north, pincered them in, and then Russia would have surrendered. That's all Japan had to do, was instead of attacking America, attack Australia instead.
And like I said, then it would be us against everybody else, because everybody else belonged to them.
Mm-hmm. But no. The Emperor had to go against Hitler's orders, against Hitler's wishes, against the Wehrmacht, and actually attack America.
Big fucking mistake.
Oh yeah, and some.
Yeah, didn't even the Emperor say that it was like waking up a sleeping dragon?
That was their chief general, Hiyamoto.
He was like, it was like waking up a sleeping dragon.
A sleeping giant, yeah.
Yeah.
And well, I'm going to end the Cobra Commands rant video series here with episode 2. I want to thank you guys for hanging out and listening to me prattle on for almost 20-something minutes now. Holy smokes. And I'm going to end this with a stay safe, have fun, keep yourselves flying, keep your enemies dying. Cobra Commander is out, and I will see you all later on twitch.tv/deceptivecobras.